When your operator breaks, you can't get in or out of the house. Today, we're going to talk about the signs to make sure that doesn't happen. Welcome to the Garage Authority Podcast, powered by A1. I'm your host, Jonathan Phillips, and today, just to bother him, we have garage door royalty in the building, because I know he hates it. We have the best Mello of all Mellos in the garage door industry with us today, the one, the only, Travis Mello. What's up, brother?
How's it going?
Little bit of background on Travis. Yes, he is related to Tommy Mello. Honestly, he's the stronger Mello, the better looking Mello. He knows more about garage doors than Tommy. I would argue his dad, Ryan, is pretty good. Shout out to Ryan. Love you, miss you. But we wanted to bring him on today because Travis is out of Wellborn in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And this kid's been living and breathing garage doors. He's done other things with his life. Shout out to the vets that are watching in right now. But this kid knows garage doors, and it's been really refreshing to have him in class because he's been very humble, and he has taken every opportunity to not only raise the other students, but also asking questions and trying to better his best. But today we're talking about openers and failing and what clients can find or see or hear, sometimes smell, to know that their operator is going to crap. So I guess getting into the meat and potatoes, what are the earliest signs of an operator or opener failing?
Someone who doesn't know a whole lot about openers, i.e. our clients, number one sign to take a peek at is we're noticing that maybe intermittent opening and closing of the door.
Right.
Say you went inside, you hit that button, you went outside and the door's open again. That's a close sign. Now, if you're confident you hit the button, I don't know what to tell you. At that point, I don't know what to tell you. You're might be going crazy, but yeah, intermittent opening, closing. Say you leave the house and you come back from hitting the store, doors open again. That's a close sign to go ahead and maybe consider calling someone. Maybe pay attention to that first, and then really consider calling out a professional to diagnose that. Other things, when you're in the garage, if you ever look up at the opener and that rail that's heading straight down to the door, you ever see like a chain or maybe a belt hanging down a little bit?
Yeah.
We're getting the signs of some wear and tear, some excessive force happening, causing that belt to come down, come a little loose. That gear on the back inside the opener that turns it, it's starting to be loose in there. It's only a matter of time before that thing breaks off or we start getting some slippage, causing the door not to come up, maybe even go down.
Right. I think the biggest one, so when you were talking about like, you know, that force that's stretched out, that gear and sprocket, that means it's about to break. And usually the reason that is because the door's heavy. 100%. And man, oh man, if you at home can imagine a heavy door and all of a sudden that sprocket breaks off during actual movement, you have a giant guillotine that is coming down, slamming on the ground. Hopefully it happens when it's almost close to the bottom. Because when it happens when it's up in the air and you have a 150-pound, 250-pound door that drops from, 6 feet up in the air straight down, it's not pretty, and there's not a lot of fixes that can be done after that. But
and even so, to add to that, I mean, out in Dallas where we're at, those doors are
heavy.
We're talking up to 650 pounds, some of them.
Yeah.
So those come down. You're not just talking about maybe injuring a vehicle, injuring a child, maybe a pet that's walking under there.
Yeah.
You're talking about the whole door falling to the ground.
Yeah, it's not. And don't get me wrong, if you have like a pan door, which not advisable, we understand there's builder grade and you couldn't control what the builder did. But those pan doors, when they fall, the goodish part about them is I've gotten doors that have crashed down so bad to where they're crumpled up to where I have to take the whole door apart. And have you ever like stepped on it in the driveway to straighten everything back? Just because I'm like, hey, we're going to make a wall for a second until we can get a new one in.
Get over there and start bending things
back
in place,
I mean, it's pliable and you can move it and stuff, but it's never going to run as good as that steel back door. Now, for those visual aids that we're talking about in kind of those extreme scenarios, what are some noises that clients should pay attention to that kind of...
We're looking for sounds of clicking, binding. Now, are we talking just opener noises, or are we talking overall?
We can do both for sure. I mean, they work in unison together.
Yeah. A lot of the times what you're going to find with wear and tear coming from an opener is the springs on the garage itself are starting to go bad. That's causing extra weight and a lot of extra resistance on that opener to work. I mean, we're talking about, well, a 7-foot tall, 16-foot wide door and or wall for that matter,
Mm-hmm.
that's being pulled up and down by theoretically a 1-inch gear.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of numbers that go into it, but yeah, if that spring starts to give out, we're listening for binding in the door.
Okay.
If it wasn't installed correctly, maybe, or over time it settled wrong.
Right.
We're talking about some binding causing, again, extra resistance on that door opener itself.
Right.
Those are some noises. Now, when it comes to the opener, you're listening for a lot of clicking noises.
Mm-hmm.
If that opener starts to click, that's just an indication that the gears inside there are starting to skip on themselves. That gear, the teeth are worn down from the extra pressure that's being applied, that reverse tension, and that's causing that gear to strip out. And when that happens, we're going to get a lot of slippage. Your door might jolt. You're going to experience a lot of skipping around.
Right.
Now, in the worst case scenario, you're going to hit that opener, you're going to walk out there, and it's going to sound quieter than it ever has before because only the motor's working.
Right.
There's nothing moving after that.
Right.
So that's a worst case scenario. That's a definitely going to call in for that one.
Right. Now, when do frequent resets of like signal cause an issue? So you were talking about earlier whenever, you get those ghost openings, but you were talking about remotes and those being an early indicator.
Yeah. Common signs. I mean, I saw it, I couldn't even say, but a week ago. We were out at a job, and a lady let us know. She said, "Hey, my door doesn't work."
Right.
Well, understandable. I get it. That's why we're here. But she's out there in the driveway clicking the button, crazy, holding it over her head under the chin trick. You know how it all works. It's just a clear sign that the receiver module has gone bad.
Yeah.
Now, receiver module is going bad on a lot of openers. They don't make those anymore. So we're looking at possibly full replacements.
Right.
Receiver modules, what they do is they just receive the signal from the opener, the handheld, keychain, car remote. Maybe it's just your car in general. Those receivers, they do go bad. And what you're going to experience when your receiver module goes bad is you're going to pull it to your house and hit that button and look at the button like it's crazy.
Right.
Because it stops working. It's out of the norm. So receiver module is going bad. That's going to be intermittent
Yeah.
operation. So we're looking at possibly like full replacements on that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's the inconvenience.
Inconvenience for sure.
When you're talking about, taking the kids to school for the day, or you going for work and you have a remote that's not closing a door, or, at night when you're trying to secure your home
100%.
and you're starting to have those issues, like it's just time now. There's some companies out there, and I mean, I've done it as well, to where we're trying to do just the bare minimum. So then you just start throwing logic boards up there, but then it turns out there's actually something wrong with the outlet, so it fries the next logic board that comes in.
100%.
Or people having LED lights in the garage that are causing frequency issues, or your neighborhood just got a new cell phone tower, or you live next to an airport. Or I've even seen like electronics from the neighbor's house whenever they set up like a new
100%.
lighting system. So all these considered, it's like, do you really want to chase your tail, like doing part by part, or ultimately look at newer systems like LiftMaster motors that are more based off of Bluetooth now than radio frequencies, so they can avoid those intermittent issues? Like, maybe it's just time to upgrade.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. Crazy stories I've ever heard is neighbors, the house was facing the road, the garage is facing the road.
Okay.
Neighbor's living room faced that garage. And on a really old unit, opener, the customer calls us, my door opens and closes randomly. I don't know why. We went ahead and replaced their opener for them, but later found out that the neighbor's TV was facing
The TV was doing it.
the TV. So every time he sat down and hit that on button, it actually would open their garage.
That's crazy.
That's a wild case I've heard of.
The wildest one is, so usually people that want to, kick the can down the road, more visits, more labor, more parts that weren't necessarily going to work. There was one time where I went out there and basically just rebuilt this entire motor, just doing it piece by piece. And I kept warning the guy, like, hey, we're ending up at more money now than a new motor. And he's like, nope, we're going to get it. And he's getting upset with me, understandably, but I'm trying. And finally, this is back in the day before I knew, one of the guys that had been in the industry a long time, he was like, hey, take him to his junction box for power on the outside and just flip off a room at a time and see if the remote works. So went there. I'm not going to touch it. So he flips off a room at a time, sitting there, and doesn't work. Finally, he flips off a room and it works from the side of the house. And we're like, what's in that room? So goes in there. He's like, oh, there's nothing in that room. That's just the kids' room and stuff like that. I'm like, is there any electronics or anything? And it was actually their baby monitoring system was causing these intermittent issues.
I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, just like random stuff, you know. Listen, I'm not no radio frequency comms engineer guy, but it's very interesting how much something like a baby monitoring system or a TV can affect that. And what I see now is that doesn't happen as much with newer operators.
100%. Yeah. Being out in the field, I see it a lot of the times with customers. My favorite reaction is when we get that camera working on those new models. The new LiftMasters, they come with a camera right in the middle, and they're actually partnered with Amazon to securely get your packages inside while you're away from home.
Yeah.
But what I see all the times, I set that opener up, and I actually talk to the customer, and I set the MyQ is what it's called, the app they use. Mm-hmm. I actually set that MyQ app up for them on their phone.
Yeah.
And then right after we set it up, they love the camera feature.
Yeah.
Mainly because, like we talked about earlier, I mean, you leave the house and you come home, say you take kids to practice, you come home and your door's open. You're like, I know I closed it. Well, now, I mean, you can use that app just to check. The camera's live feed. It tells you can look at it on your app and just tells you right there, oh, my door's open.
Yeah, and if it didn't close, it'll tell you why.
Exactly.
It's either a forces thing, it might have bumped into something, you need to get a professional out there, or, little itsy bitsy spider, nice little web with a leaf that got
right
blown
in the
through.
wrong spot. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But these are the things that people need to look for at home. Man, it sounds. Check that gear, check that chain, check that belt. Make sure it doesn't sound any different with the motor going. Sometimes it can be the door. If you're having intermittent issues where it's just doing a ghost opening and closing at random times, you've changed the battery on your keypads and remotes, but it's still just not consistent. It's probably time to get a professional out there and consider replacement. Travis, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure having you in class. I'm glad I get to have you on the podcast, and go take care of Dallas-Fort Worth, brother.
It's awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.